Welcome to Cousin Jack Carves. So today we're going to finish up our gnome carving. This is a Frankenstein gnome for Halloween, of course. And we do have a roughed out shape right here. We've gone through this in part one, where we established the shape of the hat, the nose, shoes, and beard, and of course the hair. And today we'll finish things up by adding a mustache, the beard, and tell you about these stitches that I put on here. We'll include the hair, and then we'll talk about these little bolts and how I made those. Alright, let's get started. So first we'll take our pencil and put in some marks for the mustache. I like to come to the very top of that nose where it meets the hat and just come off to the side like this. And kind of slope down a little bit with the mustache. And then from the center of the nose, just come down a little bit and then out to meet that mark, like so. And of course we want to do the same thing on the opposite side. And take a look. Yeah, it looks like I need to come down a little further here. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. So we'll start out by just making that shape, right? We want to kind of rough in the shape before we start putting in the detail. And I'll just start by creating a stop cut right along the bottom of the mustache like this. And we'll just give a little slice. Create a shadow, right? This is what we're all about, creating shadows, getting these shapes. Now we'll start to form the side of the mustache. So I'm coming up to where that brim touches the mustache and just going to bring my knife down like this. Then I want to come in here with the point of my blade, just give it a little stab like that, and then slice right up in there. And you can see how that's going to start to bring out that shape for the side of the mustache there. And we'll do the same thing on this side, right? Start from the top, follow the pencil line down like this, and then just take the point of that blade, give it a stab right in there, a little rock, and then slice up into there. This is creating some depth and bringing out the rough shape of the mustache. Not very difficult, right? So there we go. And we have a little cleaning up to do right there. So we have our roughed out mustache working for us here. What I like to do in the center is make a little triangle cut. So I want to come in here, angle this way, and then angle this way. take out that little piece right in the center. There we go. So we have that mustache working for us. And up next, we'll go ahead and cover the beard and the hair. So for this hair, I want to round this corner a little bit more. Just want to check your shapes before you get to the final detail. Clean this up right here. There we go. Have a little bit of bandsaw marks along this bottom edge. And a little rough spot here on the corner. There we go. Check your shape, make sure you're happy with it. Once you're happy with it, then fire in and put those details in there. So I'm going to start out with this file number 12. It's a V tool, and just start cutting in some lines for that hair. I'm going to put in some angles here, so angling up towards that beard and the bottom of the hat. And then on the bottom edge of that hair, I'll just come the other direction, like this. And then on this side again, I want to angle these lines up towards the beard and towards the hat. Now for the beard, I'm going to start out with my soft V. This is an older one from Denny. Company no longer exists. Later became OCC Tools, and now I think it's been bought by another company. I don't recall the name of it, but I just want to come in here and start making a few larger shapes, let's say. Okay? Some contours. Now these contours, although they may be very visible now, are really only going to add a little bit of shape. Okay. Next I'm going to move to a smaller gouge. It's a 3mm dockyard, and continue to add some contours and shapes with it. So for this beard, coming in here like this. Up under that mustache a little bit. Be careful though when you're getting near that mustache. You don't want to take it off. You can see right now we've got some contours happening there. Next we'll have our larger V tool to file to add even more detail. And I want to give it a little bit of a curve, right, when I'm making these lines. Want to kind of make them twist and turn a little bit. And then every once in a while, you just want to take a look and see kind of where you're at. You want to make sure you don't have a lot of these flat spaces that are just sticking out like a sore thumb, right? I think it's coming along pretty well. Up next, I'm going to switch over to a micro tool. This is a flex cut V tool. It's very small. And it can get into some tight spots, like right in here. Just adding more depth to some of these marks from the gouges. Now we will use this little V tool from Flex Cut for the mustache. Start adding a little bit of mustache hair. So by the way, if you don't have one of these, you might want to get one. This is a denture brush. It has very stiff bristles, right? And it's got a conical shape on one side and a flat brush over here. This is like $2 or $3 at your grocery store, where you find your toothpaste and toothbrush. Just get a denture brush. Great tool. Alright, so just want more depth right there for the time being. Now to finish off that mustache, we will come down here to the bottom edge, work the other direction. And same thing on this side. Okay, so now let's put in some hair for this guy. Now what I like to do with the hair is just kind of be a little haphazard. Frankenstein didn't have the best barber, as you probably have witnessed before, right? So I'll just grab my pencil and start making some jagged looking triangles, more or less. So I'll come down here like this, and next to that maybe a shorter one, maybe a medium. How about a longer strand? So you get the idea. Just going around the very top and putting in this hair. Very random, no rhyme or reason to it. More jagged than anything. Yeah, have fun with it. So I've got my pencil marks in there, and the next step really is just a bunch of stop cuts and triangle cuts. So as an example, I'll come in here, each of these triangles like this, put the tip of the blade in, draw it down, right? Come at it from the other direction, the tip of the blade, and draw it down. And then remove material. And there we go. We're starting to get that shape for the hair. Okay? I'm going to work my way around the top of this, and you can catch up with me as I finish. So there we go. Once you've gone in here and cut out all these little triangles, you just want to check them for fuzzies, or just see if your depth is symmetrical, right? See if that depth looks good on all the various ones that you've cut. And that's how the hair gets formed on these little guys. Sometimes I'll come in here and just kind of even out the bottom edge where I've removed some material. Just clean that up a little bit, like that. Let's talk about these little bolts and how you can make them. I think you have a variety of options, really, okay? And I've used a couple different methods to do this. So, for example, this guy has different type of bolts than this guy. It's hard to tell, but they're different. So here's a little toothpick that comes with this sort of bolt shape on the end of it. Now, this is a set of toothpicks that we had here in the house. I don't know how many years these have been in the house, but I could tell you that they were $1.95. Yeah, made in Japan. So these little toothpicks come with a bolt kind of shape on them. You just cut off a piece and then whittle it down. To make the ear holes, I just use my paint stick. It's got a wood screw on it. And where they go. So over here on the side, we know that the back of the shoe was right at the center line. So I would come up from there. Here's the brim of the hat. And then maybe come up about 1/8 of an inch. Make your mark. And then on the opposite side, from the back of the shoe, up onto the brim about 1/8. And make your mark. Like that. And if you're low tech like me, you just take your paint stick with the wood screw. And you can, if you want, put these in like give it a little angle. Or if you want to make them straight, you can do that, right? You have options. But yeah, I just go ahead and make a little shallow hole. You want to be somewhat careful. You don't want to crack the bottom of the hat while you're doing this. Take it easy. And then, clean that up a little bit. So once I've made that hole, I would just typically cut a piece of this off and then whittle that down. Now you may not have these toothpicks that come from Japan, but you might have in your garage some small nails that should work out just perfectly. Get some snips or a hacksaw and cut off a length of maybe a ½ inch, and that would look pretty cool, I think. I haven't tried that yet. And then if you just have regular toothpicks like this one, you can make them look like this. And these two bolts were carved from a regular toothpick, and then eventually it would go right in here. And then of course do the same thing on the other side. And that's how you make the bolts. Well folks, I want to thank you for joining me today. I appreciate your support. If you would like to have a lot more wood carving content, you can just click on the little video thumbnail you see there. That's Wood Carving Weekly. That's my other channel, and there's tons of wood carving content there for you. And if you like these little guys, take a look at my Etsy shop. They'll be up for sale pretty soon. Thanks folks. See you next time.